What's up?
And here we are.
You don't look like Mets.
No, and how long has it been since you've had fours not only on the show, but at the helm?
Woo-hoo! It's been far too long, my friend.
It is, tell you what, dude, it is good to be home.
It is good to have you home. And I'm especially excited that you are here tonight of all nights, especially considering, the new avenues you've been taking in life lately.
No kidding.
For those who may have not been up to date with all of our episodes, I think you were on roughly a month ago, Force?
Yeah, give or take.
About a month ago, and Force was letting us know about his new career path as a voice actor, the new game that he's worked on, The Phantom, and some of his other projects. So in light of that, our good friend and director, Metz, for those that are concerned, is home. She is home now from Mexico. She went on her mission and they went to help build a home for a family in need. But she came home with a really bad flu. So she is not able to be on tonight. So we have our fantastic guest, Mr. Fours. And man, I'm looking at all these comments. Dude, these comments are just like, I can't keep up with them right now. I know people are excited for two things. You know why people are excited?
One, because we have a living legend, and I hope you're not lactose intolerant, dairy, legendary voice actress with us tonight.
That
oh my
would
gosh.
be the main one. The second reason is tonight we are also giving away a combat saber. Yes, that is correct. We have
giveaway night.
We are at 2,800 subscribers, and actually, with this weekend, we hit another 52. So it's very possible by next weekend or the weekend after, we will be giving away another lightsaber. Do not forget, we give these away every 100 subscribers. So we've been racking up the totals lately. This is the Sheet Show. It is a Kyber Cave exclusive. It comes in 5 different colors, and tonight's winner will get to choose the color hilt that they like. So that is
that red is quite nice.
It's quite stunning.
Quite stunning indeed, darling. All right. So,
all right,
shall we bust out into some news that is quite nerdy?
Nerdy news.
Here we go. Boom. All right. Time has come for the news that is nerdy. I'm sorry I don't have the music thingy because I don't know how that works. All right. So, in our nerdy news, we have Andor's Alan Tudyk captures the childlike joy of K2SO. The incomparable Alan Tudyk, who voiced and motion captured the role of K2SO on Rogue One, has seen how much the character has meant to fans in the last decade since he has last played the role, which is no doubt. I mean, this dude is quotable. K2SO became an unlikely companion to Andor in the Rogue One movie, and together they had great camaraderie. Check out the interview with Alan written by Jade Fabelo on StarWars.com with links in the description.
K2SO for me absolutely was one of my favorite characters in the Rogue One movie. I'm so happy that Alan Tudyk's character is just as beloved by everybody else as I love K2SO.
Exactly. Now, I have a warning for everybody, and this is a warning that comes from way back in the 80s, and that warning is, watch out.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's a Spaceball.
Spaceballs!
I don't believe it. Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money.
Yes.
Sequel cast. 4 main characters returning. Lewis Pullman and Keke Palmer are joining. So, many have heard by now, and if you haven't heard, you're living under a rock, that the sequel to Spaceballs is in fact coming. Let's see. 4 members of the original cast are joining, including Bill Pullman as Lone Star, Rick Moranis, the legend, as Dark Helmet, Mel Brooks, 98 years old, my dude.
Amazing.
Yogurt. And Daphne Zuniga as Princess Vespa.
Ooh.
And
And the fact that Rick Moranis has come out of acting retirement for this really says something.
yes. And you know what? Shout out to Rick Moranis for the absolute heartfelt, unbelievable, humane individual that he is, for stepping aside, taking care of his family, taking care of his wife when he needed to be there. It truly is a shining definition of family first, and Rick is that person. So from Kyber Cave to Rick Moranis, we shout out to you, brother.
Love you.
So as we know, John Candy has passed away some time ago, so a possible storyline is for his son, which we'd love to see our pal Tommy Beckhold play.
Wow.
Possible.
If Barf had a son, what would he be named? Would he be named like Vomit?
You know what? You know, if Barf were a cat, the kid would be named Hairball, but it doesn't work. So I don't know. Maybe Woof. We have Barf and we have Woof.
Yes. If
Possible.
you have any ideas in the audience of what Barf's son's name could be, we'll shoot it directly to Mel ourselves. We're good friends with Mel.
To which he will laugh hysterically. So,
Yes.
Let's see. Furthermore, joining the cast are Keke Palmer from Nope and Lewis Pullman, who most recently played Bob in Thunderbolts and is the son of Lone Star actor Bill Pullman. So you can check out more in the article in the description, written by Sydney Somper of StarWarsNet.com.
Excellent. Excellent.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm seeing our guest. Our guest tonight has quite a few people in here that are friends of hers, and I'm learning things about her that I'm definitely going to have to ask her about. She seems to be a bit of a video game nerd, it seems like.
That is what I'm talking about.
She's getting called out by her friends on the side.
For real. So with that, shall we get to the flow?
We shall. I don't know anything about this flow. This is, I believe, a brand new person to the channel. As some of you may or may not know, I found out, are one of the, it's so weird to think about all the billions of channels on the internet, and we are one of the only places where we feature a different flow artist every week. For some of you that may not be familiar with flow is anything that is more aesthetic. We started the show out doing lightsaber flow, which is taking the lightsaber and spinning it around your body and doing it flips and things. So it's not about the fighting. And we've expanded to fire flow. We've had people that are glovers, people that have been using orbs. So it's kind of anything where it's use of your body in a more artistic manner as opposed to, say, for fighting. So our category has gotten quite huge. And but I do know that we are very fortunate to have James Kaiser, one of the OGs in the lightsaber flow. He was one of the first guys to start doing it and teaching other people to do it in the lightsaber flow community. And he brings us a different artist every week. So I'm excited to see who this is. Who we got? Can you pronounce the name?
Let's see. It is not in the notes, so we are up for a surprise. And here
we'll see when we turn it on.
Go. Very smooth, very controlled, very
Yeah.
nice. Well done.
I'm working on something really cool right now.
That's cool. So before we bring in our guest, I kind of want to bring attention to something, you know, as of late, as a voice actor, that I'd like to share.
Yes.
So for any of y'all listening, or for those who know or who are looking into it, one of the things about voice acting that I've discovered is that if you're going to get into it and you're very, very serious about it, something I've learned from a wonderful, wonderful coach is that we each have a box that we fit into. We really do. Some of us can be an everyman, which can fit into many boxes. Others of us, we have something that makes us tick. I happen to know and be friends with a few actors who are incredible people. They have found their box, and you really never know what that box can be until you find it. And that box is so much more than just like, oh, well, this is an audiobook person, or, oh, well, this is a character actor. No, 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 no. This goes deep. You can have people who are incredible children actors, or can do voices for children's programming, as we know via our guest tonight. We also
Yes.
have people who are incredibly skilled at corporate narration. We have folks who can be just your regular average Billy Bob dude sitting at the bar in some sort of like a sports bar commercial. Like, there's almost a voice actor for everything. But what's important is knowing where you fit. And I'm very grateful, number one, for all my friends who do this with me, for all my coaches, for all my instructors, but just for that tidbit of information. Because if you know what you're good at and you play to your strengths and you know the box you belong in, it's a lot easier to get discovered. It really is. So just thought I'd share that. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Thank you for that. That will be useful as we move into this. Before we go into that, though, I do want to remind everybody, do not forget, at the end of the night, we will be giving away a free saber. All you have to do to win the saber is leave a comment. If you have left a comment in the box to the side, you have a chance at winning the saber. And I do want to say hi to everybody that I met today. I was at Sinister Creature Con. I was at a horror show today. Actually this weekend, and I met a lot of fantastic people who are here tonight. So stick around to the end of the show. We will be giving away that saber to one of the people here who has left a comment. I also want to remind you, if you need a saber, head over to kybercave.com. We have you taken care of for all your combat saber needs. They're perfect for couples therapy. If you need to work something out or figure out who's cooking dinner tonight, make sure to grab yourself a combat saber. I know that our guest tonight and her husband have sabers, and once they get those together, there will be a lot of disputes taken care of at that household. So with that in mind, I'm super stoked about tonight, my boy.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. All I can say, I'm a voice actor myself, and I am freaking out about this. Like, what?
We've been very fortunate in our 5 years on air. We've had a lot of very, very cool guests. We've had a lot of inspirational stories. Not only people from cartoons, but Star Wars actors, Warner Brother artists, all kinds of people from every industry. We've had people from all over the world on the show, people from Egypt, from Iceland. But tonight's show got me in my 7-year-old feels, bro.
Yeah, and to embarrass my son, she is his very first hero from 2 years old. Sorry, son.
Well, I am excited to have our guest tonight. Our guest who will be coming on tonight. I am sure you will know her when you hear her voice. She is a beloved fixture in many, many people's lives. And I am very interested to see and learn about how she has transformed not only It's one thing to be in a cartoon, to be in a love cartoon. We've had other cartoon actors, but to be in shows that are like educational and transformative at the same time, and not just something people enjoy, but something that people actually learn from, is absolutely amazing. So I am excited to hear about her story and her journey, and find out what all of this talk about Sonic the Hedgehog is over here on the side of the show. So with no further ado, please give it up for Miss Kathleen Herles. Woo! Oh wait. Oh, you didn't put her in. Oh, sorry.
Hi.
No, there. Oh, let me get. I'm sorry. I'm totally. There we go. Now drop yourself out. All right, there you go. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. This is
Thank
so
you so
fun.
much for coming on. You have you've been doing a lot of traveling a lot lately, haven't you?
Yes, we recently just had a little bit of a break, which was nice to be at home,
Right.
but slowly picking up a little bit. Yeah.
Wow. Do
Yeah.
you do I had the privilege of meeting you at SAC Anime,
hmm
maybe 2 months ago or so.
Yes.
Have you been constantly on tour since that time?
No, I think that may have been our last one, and then we had like a break since then, which has been really nice just to get back into a routine.
Right.
And we're doing a fun event in Midland, Texas this weekend, and then having some vacation time in LA, which will be fun.
Wow.
But then I have a con in Colorado Springs in August.
Wow.
So, yeah. But then Dora's getting her own Funko Pop soon.
Woo-hoo! Are you
So
excited about
really,
that?
I'm so excited. It will be her first one. Um, and I know that'll pick up on cons too because everyone loves to get those signed. So that'll be so much fun.
Excellent. And excellent. So, but there's okay, how does it feel? Because there are other Dora action figures and things out there now. Well, I mean, I guess they're kind of based on the character. They're not really based on you. But is it weird to know that you have an action figure out there?
Oh yeah, I still think it's weird. You could see right behind me. I still have some of the ones that I grew up with that
Mhm.
have my voice in it. And even
Wow.
when I hear it now, it feels like another lifetime because I was so young when I recorded it.
Right.
But it's pretty cool. Especially now I know there's a lot of toys out there still, but I mean I don't have kids, but I feel like
Mhm.
toys I don't know. I don't know if they're not the same, I feel like when we were younger.
Right. Yeah. Things have changed. How
Yeah.
old were you when you did the voice for Dora?
I got cast when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Originally it was just for the pilot, and if it got picked up, then we would kind of see where it would go, and it didn't get picked up the first time. So they asked us if we were willing to, stay with them, and they wanted to pitch it again, and we were like, "Of course." I mean, it was
Right.
Nickelodeon. I mean, I was young, why not? Um,
Right.
so we stayed with them. It got picked up. I believe they kept everyone who was working on the pilot, which doesn't normally happen. Sometimes they'll change the actors, but we stayed on, and it's been a wild adventure since then,
So now I
for
read in
sure.
your IMDb that you grew
Yes.
up in New York, correct?
Mhm. Yep,
How
born
did
and raised, still here.
and where was Nickelodeon Studios? Like, how did you go from being in New York to auditioning for Nickelodeon?
Yeah, so they have, an office, on Broadway in Times Square, 1515 Broadway, which I don't know if it's still 1550 Broadway or they're, like, across the street because I think it was Nickelodeon, but then they were Paramount and then Viacom. I don't really know, like, all of the different changes, but they're still in Times Square. They have an office there, and, I auditioned there, and all of our recording was done in Manhattan at a separate recording studio.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and I think it was maybe the only one at the time or one of the few that recorded in New York, because mostly everything was in was in LA. But
Right,
thankfully
right,
we were able to stay here, and that was something. I think the creators, they lived here. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they moved from LA, but so it kind of worked out for us.
Excellent. Now, okay, I'm going to hit you with the question here. We have a question. We have a question for someone in the audience. Now, we usually
Yeah.
don't start like this deep and this fast.
That's
I
okay.
want you to know if there are any questions that you're not comfortable with or things that you don't want to talk about. Please don't feel like you have to answer them. I also
Sure.
want to say really quickly, only because I'm working on this was something I was working on. I was trying to get the actor, I can't see it, John Michael from Squid Game. He is working on a movie in China right now, so he cannot come on. But he thanked you, and he said he would love to meet you at a different time.
Yes. Oh, that's so awesome. That's so cool.
I found out, for those in the audience that want to know what that is about, I found out when I met Kathleen through her husband that she was a huge Squid Game fan. And for those that have been following this channel, you know that John Michael is one of the irregular hosts on one of our old shows. So I thought that would be fun if he could come on, but he is working on a movie in China right now.
Booked and busy. We love to see.
Exactly. So, okay, so here's the question. And again, if this is a weird one, please don't feel bad about
no
it.
problem.
It says were the folks at Nick nice to you? Quiet on the set was a shocker.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be our first question, by the way.
No, that's okay. So because we recorded in New York, I rarely went to LA. I think I had gone to LA, after the show was picking up and it was becoming, very popular. I would go to LA for like awards ceremonies and things like that. But I was kind of very in like the New York bubble. I didn't have to go to LA really at all. So I kind of didn't grow up in like, the normal Hollywood industry and with Nickelodeon. Like I only know the people who are on the Dora Nickelodeon New York team, and I really didn't know anybody else. When I would go to LA, I was fortunate enough where, they would give me a tour of the LA offices and the studios. But it was so different because in New York, it was just a recording studio. There wasn't like, Nickelodeon things everywhere. And
Right. There
so it
wasn't
was always like,
dripping off the ceiling.
yeah, it was so nice to go to LA and like see like all the lights and the pictures and, feel like you're in like Nickelodeon.
Right.
But looking back, I guess in a way, it was kind of nice that there's pros and cons, right, to everything. But yeah, I didn't experience a fraction or anything that a lot of Nick stars, child stars on Nickelodeon at the time, thankfully. But yeah, it was a shock to watch that documentary for sure. And, my heart goes out to them for what they went through.
Were you able to have then, because you weren't always at the studio and you kind of went and did your recordings, were you able to have a normal childhood kind of a life? Or how did you weren't always on the set, so you got to come home to your family and such. How was that growing up for you?
Normal.
Yeah, I guess that's relative, right?
That is the best answer she can give.
It's so funny. It's funny because I've only started doing cons maybe I think 2.5 years now, which is a long time already. And I haven't really talked about, those days in a long time. So I've been reflecting a lot. So I do like these questions because I'm able to like kind of like rethink and reevaluate a lot of things. But it was okay. I think school was like a really big it was just really hard for me to balance school and work.
Right.
I mean, when I first got cast, I was living in Queens, which is a lot closer to Manhattan than where I ended up moving to, which I moved to Long Island when I was 12, which is about like basically an hour and a half to a 2-hour commute into Manhattan if you count, taking the train into the city and then getting to the studio and kind of like all of that.
Right.
So in the beginning, I know I'm like going back and forth here, but when I first got cast, it was normally after school where I would go into the city to record. And then once it started picking up, I would have a tutor on set at the recording studio 3 days a week. We
Oh,
would
wow.
record all day. It would be me and the voice of Boots, Harrison Chad. And we would kind of like take turns back and forth. So when he was recording, I was in school, and then it would kind of bounce back that way. And then so I would be in school 2 days out of the week,
Right.
which it was really hard to kind of connect and make friends and just kind of really understand where everyone was. Because even if the teacher gave me the work, you know, she could have pivoted. They could have talked about different things.
Right.
So I feel like my education suffered a little bit. And socially, it was kind of hard to figure all of that out. And I couldn't really hang out with people because I would have obligations after, or I would
Right.
end up breaking a lot of promises. And, you know, as a kid, you don't really understand, you know, it hurts. But you don't really know how to manage all of that.
Right.
And I think for me, I was more reserved as a kid, and I was very like well behaved in the sense where, you know, I kind of like did what I was told to do, which is good, but also I held a lot in. So it was just really hard throughout those years to kind of like figure that out. And then on top of
Right.
all of that, you're trying to figure out who you are as a person, you know?
Right.
And I
Right.
think people forget, like, you have so many different, like, those years when you're young is when you're trying to develop like who you are and develop physically and all of these different things that are happening. Meanwhile, you're going to school, you have a job,
Right.
you're trying to figure out who you are at work, who you are at
Right.
school, and then who you are at home too.
And then your hormones are going crazy and
Yeah,
you're growing
there's
up.
so much. Yeah. So, I mean, I think I did pretty well. I came out pretty well, like, thanks to my parents, and, you know, I grew up in church too, which I do believe that God helped a lot. Um, but it is tough to be in the business as a child, while you're going through all of that stuff. It just developmentally, it is a lot.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have an older brother, yeah.
An older
One.
brother. And so your family, had your family been long established in New York? Or the reason I'm asking is
Yeah.
I'm first generation here. My family came from Vietnam, and
Yeah.
I know that it was difficult for my mother to she didn't know how to acclimate as well to the American things. But it seems like
Yeah.
your parents, obviously, if they were taking you to auditions when you
Yeah.
were 7 years old, they seemed like they were really a part of their community, or they were really open to more ideas. Or
Yeah, my mom came to the States first from Peru with her family. And I think she was like 15, 16. So she finished high school here in the States, which I think really helped her like learn, where she learned English and kind of like was probably more able to acclimate to the culture, right? Because you're around like a lot of people in school and things like that.
right,
And then my dad came a little after because they were dating in Peru. And then once he graduated in Peru, he came to find my mom. And then they got married probably at like around 18 or 19.
wait. So when he came to the States, he was like specifically looking for her.
Oh yeah, he knocked on my grandmother's door, my aunt's door at the time because they were living with my aunt,
Oh,
and was like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm looking for my Noemi." And they're like, "What?" It's so
right,
crazy. Like, I grew up thinking like one story, and like as we get older, my parents start telling me other things of their story. I'm like, when did this happen? Like, you never
right,
told me. And it's
right,
kind of like when you get older, you get looser lips, and they just start telling you all the secrets.
right.
But
Exactly.
yeah, and they were both really young, and they got married. They had my brother first, and my mom was 24 when she had me. And my dad was working all the time. He worked in restaurants and kind of worked his way up to be a chef in Manhattan. So he was always working. But my mom, you know, she didn't work for a few years when I was younger, and she started taking me to modeling classes. I think more just to do like as a hobby, just for us to
Right,
do something
right,
and to connect with the community too, because the modeling school that we were going to, um, was like a Hispanic school. So they spoke Spanish. We were able to connect, they were just able to connect that way. And then through that, I was also doing pageants too at the time. So that kind of like tied in with the modeling. And then through the modeling school, we did a modeling convention at the Waldorf Astoria, which I believe still goes on, which is wild to me. But that's where my manager discovered me. And then my manager got me my agent. And then
wow. So
how
when
you
you were, I mean, I guess when things were going with Dora, were you looking at the time in just general acting, or were you specifically looking for voice work?
just acting, everything, just auditioning for whatever came our way. So that's why when I get asked, like, oh, how do you become a voice actor? Did you always know you wanted to become a voice actor? I'm like, I don't
I kind of stumbled into it.
I was just there,
Right.
Right
The
place,
answer
right
to that is
time.
there's no
No.
magic formula. There
Yeah.
it doesn't exist.
There isn't. And it's so funny because you ask anybody and everyone has a different story on how they became. But yeah.
Well, I just have to say, while I'm listening to you, I'm also looking at the comments, and you have a lot of people. I can see in here people that you've met at conventions. Somebody said they met you at your very first convention. You have a
so
lot
funny.
of fans in here that love you.
Yay. Yeah, I
They're
posted
absolutely
a
love
link on my Instagram. So I saw a few people that follow me on socials that they popped up here. So it's
They
so
are
funny.
here, and we've got, oh my goodness, we've got so many questions. I want to first apologize to the people in the audience. If I don't get to your question, please don't shoot me, don't hate me. There are a lot of people that are excited to talk to Kathleen tonight. So we want to try to get to as many as we can. There was a couple of people. I'm going to start with one because a couple of people have asked a very similar question, and I find it very interesting. We'll start with this one from Kevin, but somebody asked something similar. Has the rise of artificial intelligence affected the voice acting world? Are you having to look to agree to studios to use your voice for future work, like Disney's Rogue One bringing back Grand Moff Tarkin? So that's interesting. How has
Yeah.
AI affected you personally?
Personally, it hasn't affected me yet in terms of, Dora and my work in that sense. Partially, well, mostly I think is because there is a new uh, voice for Dora. So there's not really I know like our generation connects with my voice, but there's not like a universal Dora voice
Oh
because
wow!
there's so many of us. So I don't know if that'll ever happen.
It's a whole Dora army.
Yeah, there's so many. I feel like we should have I always say like I feel like I should organize a DoraCon because
Right.
there's so
You guys
many, not even
you
just
should
voice
form a band and
actors,
call
but
yourself the Doras.
yeah, like from the Dora live shows through like all the Doras on social media, I feel like there's so many of us. But
Right.
I know it is affecting some aspects of our industry a lot. I don't know too much, but it is something that I have my eye out for. Um and if anything does come up, I don't foresee myself not speaking about it or telling about it. So if it does happen, I'll make sure to say something about it for sure.
Right. Somebody in the audience says there are different Doras.
Yes, yes. I was so back then. I think well, at least for Dora the Explorer, the seasons weren't like one season per year. It kind of like went one season was like a year and a half to 2 years because they would repeat a lot of episodes. And what they would do, I mean, they would repeat, I think, the same episode at least 3 times in a week because they believed that repetition and seeing something over and over again was beneficial for children to learn. So that educational aspect. So that's why when I say like I was only Dora for the first 4 seasons, they're like, "Oh, the only 4 season, that's like 4 years." But it really
Right.
was 8 to 10 years because of the
Wow.
way it was spread out. I think it did end up picking up after that. But so then after me there was another Dora. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting. I'm drawing a blank. want to say Catherine is her name. I can't
Mhm.
remember. She did it for 2 seasons, and then Fatima was Dora for the remainder of the show, and then she did Dora and Friends into the City. And then the show ended, and then they came out with the movie, the live action movie,
Mhm.
which Isabella Merced played Dora, which she was fantastic. And then Dora came back. They rebooted the show with the CGI animation. I think I thought it was 2 years ago, but I think it might have been just only a year.
Mhm.
And now I play her mom. So it's
Oh,
like just like
wow.
a never-ending journey with Dora. There's a
Right.
new Dora now. She's amazing, Diana Zermenyo, and yeah, there's just a lot of
How
Doras.
do you feel about that? I mean, on the one hand, it's kind of like, to me, it's almost like being James Earl Jones, right? When you're Darth Vader, like you just know that voice. When you did the little like commercial for us, when I heard your voice,
Oh
it
yeah,
just brings me back. Nobody else can imitate that voice.
yeah.
Um, so how does that how do you feel about that with the different types of doors? Like, are they trying to emulate you, or are they bringing their own Dora-ness to it?
I haven't met a voice actor for Dora, or actor for Dora before they started working as Dora on the
Mhm.
show or movie, whatever. So, I feel like they all put their own personal spin on it. When it comes in terms of the show, I believe the Doors after me, I think they did try to at least make it sound similar because it was still kind of like the same show.
Right.
But I remember when they recast it, I was graduating from high school and I really believed. I remember when I got the news, I was on the steps of my house and I sat down and I really thought, I was like, I thought I'd be sadder when I got the news that I wasn't going to be Dora anymore. And
Right.
I think it was because, I was in a new transition of my life and I really needed to find who I was outside of
Right.
Dora. I mean,
Right.
I think if I was an adult playing Dora, of course, I feel like my mindset would have been different. This is what I pay my bills with. My priority would be I need to keep this job as long as I can. But
Right.
as a child, I just had a different mindset at the time. And I think I needed to break away. And I was okay to not be Dora anymore. But even now as an adult, like, yeah, it would have been so cool if they recasted me as Dora, right? And the reboot.
Right.
Or if they kept me this whole time. But I think because I grew up with a sense of being like a child voice actor for this, you know, little girl, this role, like I knew I wasn't going to play her forever. And
Right.
I just
Right.
always understood that. And I'm happy that other people can play this role. My life was completely changed by this role in so many ways. Um, why wouldn't I want that for someone else? And I know this
Right.
industry, I know there are situations where things are done maybe a little shady and,
Mm.
when they replace voice actors and like things like that. And I know that can get a little sticky. But in my case, I don't think that was the case, and I don't I'm so happy for all of the Doras. I love that for them. I try to uplift them as much as I can and reach out to them, and I don't have a desire to be Dora. I love my time with her, and I love
Right.
playing her mom now. Like, I wanna do other things. I'm not just Dora. Like,
Right.
I can do other, characters, and I wanna do all those things and explore all those things. So,
And that comes to,
yeah,
we had other questions over here that kind of lead it into that, like
cool.
asking if you had any upcoming projects that we should be
Yeah,
looking forward to. Somebody asked something very similar
yeah,
about other things that you might be working on that are not Dora related.
yeah. So I was just talking about this with Aaron briefly before. When we talk about my journey, so after Dora, I tried to like do on camera acting, which didn't really work out. And there was a lot of time, but I ended up leaving the industry for a little bit. I worked in interior design for 10 years
Ooh.
Oh,
and
wow.
I loved it. And with the opportunity that came up to do conventions, a lot of shows throughout one year, and then getting the reboot to play Dora's mom,
Right.
I kind of was like, okay, I can't work and do everything and, have all of that. So luckily I was in a place where I could decide not to work and just do these two things and really try to pursue acting again. But I knew I wanted to just pursue voice acting. I love voice acting. I love animation. Um, so I just wanted to focus on that. And I'm still focused on that.
Right.
I got new representation a year ago, which that was like a whole process, and that can
Isn't it
always get
though?
like messy
Isn't
and
that a thing?
yeah, like, and nobody teaches the sad thing is like nobody teaches you what the right thing and the wrong thing is, or like, so you're just kind of like figuring it out, and it's not really the corporate way to do things. They have their own, I don't know. It was just really hard to maneuver and break away. It felt like a really bad breakup. But it's just something there's a business side to this industry. It's not all creative. And
Right.
it's something that I didn't need to know because I was just in it for so long and my parents were taking care of everything. So I just feel like I'm learning a lot of things. I'm trying to build a foundation again and to build my name up again because that's a real thing. I've been gone for so long. Nobody really knows who I am, like on the casting side and things like that. People need to
Right.
see your name and see who you are. With new representation, I'm auditioning a lot more. I feel like some, for a lot of different roles and things like that. So I'm able to practice and do all of those things. But it is tough. I'm learning. I'm trying to take classes, take coaching, and I mean, full transparency. I haven't, aside from Dora, I haven't booked anything, and
Mhm.
it hurts my ego a lot to say that.
Right.
But and it's not be and I battle with myself like, oh, am I good enough? Should I not be doing this? Like, am I just Dora? And this is like full transparency.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever really expressed like this before, but I love what I'm doing, and I'm so blessed to be able to keep trying every day to be better, to grow. Um, and I'm in a place where I don't have to like struggle jobs and trying to do this industry. So I try to stay like positive and just know that I'm doing enough, and one day another role will come and I'll be able to, you know, talk about that. And it's really like what you said, Erin, like finding your box. I feel like I'm still finding it where I am now. And I think other actors who may have started acting as a child and having this one role and then maybe trying to come back to it, I think your box can change at times, right? Like when
Right.
you're younger, yeah, Dora was my niche, my box, like, but she's not now, so I need to find it.
Right.
And I think we
Right.
grow and we were able to go into all of these different boxes, but I'm just trying to enjoy the journey and work towards being the best that I can be in all areas of my life. And
Right.
yeah,
I
the
was
struggle
thinking
is
about
real.
I was
Hey,
thinking about you today. I was at a horror convention and I was thinking about like, oh my goodness, could I envision Kathleen in a horror movie?
I would love that. I don't know if I told you this. A big theme park nerd. So I grew up going to Disney and Universal too many
Mhm.
times probably. But at Universal, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have the sound effects show. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh,
Like the horror kind of like sound effects show. And I went, it was the one in Hollywood
okay.
in LA, and I was with my mom, and I have like a killer scream. Okay. So they were like, okay, everyone who can scream in the audience, and the loudest one will get called up to do like the whole scene.
Right.
So my mom's like, you got to do it. And I was like, okay. So I did my scream, and everyone like just like stopped, and the guy like pointed in my direction, and the girl in front of me, she thought like he was pointing at her, and she
Uh,
tried to like go up, but everyone around me was like, no, it was her. And I was like, yeah, it was me. But I love horror. I don't know why, but my mom grew up watching horror, and we would just watch it with her as kids because,
right.
I don't know. it was like bad and good, but I appreciate a good horror movie. And I just grew up watching it. And I did read in an article one time, statistically, Latinos, there's a higher like they're the highest, there's a higher percentage of Latinos watching horror films. I think it was like um more than like 33% or something of
Wow.
the audiences are Latino for horror movies, which I
I
think
had no
is
idea.
interesting considering like my personal experiences. I haven't like looked up more information on that, but I did read that once, which I thought was interesting. Yeah.
So you're definitely open for a horror movie.
Open to it. Yes, for
All
sure.
right, anybody in the audience, if you've got a script for Kathleen, make sure to get that her
Yes.
direction.
And there is a Dora horror. Well, it's like a Dora SD. You can't really say it's Dora, but Amanda the Adventurer. Have you ever heard of this video game?
Oh my goodness. Can we talk about that for a minute?
I
Hey.
signed up. I guess it's creating I know it's been around for a while, but I don't know if there's been like a recent boost, but at cons at least twice I've signed an Amanda an Adventurer plush. I think
Yeah.
it's her boots. There was like a limited edition plushie, and I signed. It was
Yep.
a sheep. And I had
Wooly.
signed it, which I thought was really
Wooly
cool.
is his name.
Wooly, yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I need to play the game. I do want to play it and stream
It's sick.
I'm so excited.
Is
I'm
it-
gonna have
Van, is
to
there
put like a disclaimer.
for real? Hey Van, is there enough time for me to fire up a couple of voiceover questions?
Yeah. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I'm okay too. I'm good.
All right, so Kathleen,
Yes.
let's venture into the realm of sessions. If you can recall some sessions. So earlier on, you had mentioned that you had recording sessions on your own when you would play Dora,
Mhm.
and then Boots would go in and do some sessions. At any given point during any shows or shows where you played the mom, did you have any table reads or booths that were large enough to accommodate 2 to 3 people where you would do group reads while recorded?
No, I'm so sad we didn't.
Yeah,
Oh.
when you've
I
got
feel like
scripts and you
Boots and
can
I-
bounce off each other, it is incredible.
Yeah. I want to say maybe Boots and I like did some things together sometimes.
Mhm.
But it really didn't happen. I feel like the only time where all of us were together was when we recorded the theme song,
Right.
which was a little chaotic because there was a lot of kids just running around everywhere with snacks and all of these things. But I feel like that would have been so cool. And there's really like no footage of me recording. I mean, we didn't have cell phones, like we didn't have a camera really.
Wow.
So like I feel like there was a lot of I have like pictures, like just random pictures, but it wasn't like a thing. Where was I sharing it to? Like, I feel like now, like, everyone's always taking pictures, but back then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, like, oh, I gotta take like 1,000th picture of me in the booth. Like, it was like one's enough, I guess. But yeah, that would have been really cool. I
Now
feel like
speaking
maybe
of
we should put that together now with all
for
the
real.
OGs. That'd be
Now
fun.
now speaking of booths, on how many occasions, especially in more recent times, I would say over the past 10 years, maybe, if you've done, if you basically counting from 15 to now, have you had any or many sessions remote or via Source Connect?
No. I am
No.
when I got cast for Mommy, for Dora's mom, I
Mhm.
got set up with Source Connect because we were still kind of in COVID, but towards the end, so I don't think people really know how we were gonna go. So
Yeah.
they did set me up for it. Um, but I just go into I'm pretty close to New York City, so I just kind of take the train in and record in a studio, which I don't mind because I don't want to play like engineer and laptop. And for some reason, I feel like I always get bad luck. Sometimes my internet's probably gonna go off or something, so I just
Yeah.
rather go into a studio. But
So now that you're venturing forward and doing different things,
yes,
and if you don't mind my asking,
sure. No.
what is your demo creation process like? And if I
Oh.
may ask, how many different genres are you visiting while creating the demos?
See, this is
This
why we brought in a professional.
and I'm happy too because I don't have a demo.
Well, it's time to get on that, girl.
I know. Well, so I feel like I'm at a crossroads really because so growing up, right, because I was Dora, I thought I needed a demo, but everyone was, everyone was telling me, oh no, you don't need a demo. Like you're Dora. And I'm like, okay. But even as I got older, I knew it was something that people were doing and I just felt like I needed to have one. But I was kept, everyone kept telling me, no, like you don't need one. And I had in college, I thought I wanted to move to LA. And I went to LA for 3 months to try to find an LA agent at the time. And I had emailed an agent probably every day, which I probably shouldn't have done, to try to get an appointment with her because my manager couldn't get one for me.
Really?
And I just found her email or online and I emailed her and she eventually answered and she was like, oh, can you send a demo? And I was like, I don't have one, but let me put one together really quick. So I did one with my MacBook. Horrible. What I know what a demo is now, I did not give her a demo. She probably listened to it and was like, I don't know. But she saw me. She ended up seeing me after I sent the demo.
Wow.
I went into the office and she was willing to help me, but she's like, you have to move here. Like I can help. She was telling me all these things that I needed to work on, specifically my cadence, because I would talk like Dora, talk like conversationally, which I still have to remind myself to do now sometimes. But yeah, so then now fast forward to nowadays, I'm also trying to get a demo and, I feel like I'm still getting kind of like the same response and I don't know how to go forward on that.
So in regards to that, you've already discussed with Van, you'd like to get into a little bit of horror, right?
Yeah.
And you've already been in the realm of children's family. If you were to just go crazy, right? If you had a pen and paper and 2 weeks to just spitball ideas and think about it, what different sort of things would you like to just try? E-learning, corporate narration, an audiobook, children's stories, anything outside of character work, a makeup commercial, something like, have you thought about, giving any of those a shot?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about a lot of it and I feel like I audition here and there, but I think I'm stuck on that too because like I'm actively auditioning, but then like I also want to work on these things and how do I build these skills while I'm doing all of this stuff and then trying to do everything else. And I think that sometimes like I just kind of get overwhelmed and then I kind of like shut down. Like I don't know where to go or like where to begin and maybe I need to put more effort into it.
Right. So I'll throw it back to Van, but I do want to just share this with you.
Yes, please.
It brings great comfort to know that after all these years, you are still human.
Yeah.
That this is not something that just new people go into. This is not just something that, people can say, well, I played this role and then automatically, boom, they're granted this next role. Like this is actual reality. And these are real things that we as voice actors or actors in the game face every day. I mean, just because Tom Cruise was in all those Tom Cruise movies doesn't guarantee that Tom Cruise is going to get another movie tomorrow. I mean, these are like the demos, the marketing. These are all things we have to be thinking about constantly. And it is a great comfort to know that my friends and I are not alone in this struggle.
No. And I feel like everyone expects me to know everything because I played this iconic character and I'm constantly saying, I don't know anything. And I feel like I need to keep saying it louder because I do want to learn. And that's why I talk about like rebuilding my foundation because I feel like I am learning. Like times change, things have changed since, I play Dora in the industry, in the world, in every aspect. And social media is like a huge thing now too. And I'm just trying to piece it all together. And we are human. We have lives on top of all of this,
Yes.
and it's hard. So it's always good. Whatever career you're trying to pursue, you just have to take things day by day and not put so much pressure. I mean, enough pressure to move and do what you need to do, but not so much where it's hindering everything else.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will say from the absolute bottom of my heart, and I mean this when I say it, Kathleen. Number one, thank you for being that inspiration when my children needed it. But number two, thank you for being that visible, present human being when we need it. Because you are an amazing person. You are an amazing talent. You are you are all around amazing. And
Yeah, you're
people
gonna make
and
me cry.
people
Sorry.
look up. No, serious. People look up to you. I look up to you. Having
Thank you.
accomplished what you have. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm 44 years old and I'm trying to just figure this out and get it because I've had to raise kids. But to know that this is like a universal thing,
Yeah.
and not just once you've made it, that's it. Like this is consistent marketing, consistent working, consistent practice. And you know what? Consistent stumbles and reality checks and long nights and where do I go next? That's very, very real. And you know what?
I don't have a map in real life to tell me where to go.
And you know something, Kathleen? I appreciate you so much for that. Thank you for your transparency.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Rob says, see you at One Voice in August. And Aaron, Jennifer is saying you should hook her up with Gabby. I'm not sure what exactly that means.
Kathleen, if you can hang out after the show, I for like 10 minutes, I'd love to talk to you about a few things.
Yeah, for sure. I did do I'm talking about all this stuff. I did do one really cool like gig one day, which I can't really say what it is now, but when I can, I can't believe I forgot about it while I'm talking. But I did get this opportunity.
That NDA is strong.
Yeah, I know. I got this opportunity through a friend, and it was really like one of the coolest days of my life. So I can't wait to share that eventually later this year.
Bold,
when
Rob.
you can share that, you
little
need to
by
come
little.
back and let us know about that.
Yeah, it was cool.
What do you look forward to now, Kathleen? Are you spending? First off, I have to say for those that may or may not know, Kathleen has an incredible husband named Reggie, who seems to be very supportive of all the shenanigans that you get into.
Yes, he gets me into shenanigans. He should be watching. I sent him the link, so I don't know if he'll comment. But yes, he is my partner in travel at cons. He's my handler. He's my photographer. He's my security guard. He's a lot, and my husband. But he wears a lot of. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Shenanigan. But no, I am. I mean, that's another blessing in itself to be able to have him come with me and do all of these things together, and for him to support me is huge. So I don't take that for granted, for sure.
When you were doing Dora, of course you were younger, and I'm sure you can't have known in the same way as an adult would the kind of impact that you were making at the time. Is it strange for you to have people say, "Oh my God, you were part of my childhood," but Dora was also part of your childhood?
Yeah. I always respond
up together.
Yeah, I always respond. Yeah, I always say that, like, "Oh, we grew up together. I was the same age." So, and like, that same time was Blue's Clues. I was growing up watching Blue's Clues and recording Dora. So when I see Steve now, I always like when we first got reconnected, because I did meet him once when I was younger, but through these cons, actually the first con that I ever did, I saw him. He was there. And I got to reconnect with him. And now we're like friendly and we talk all the time. But I always look at him, and every time I look at him, I'm like, It's just so weird, like, just to be talking to you and looking at you like you're my childhood. Like, it's just really, really strange. So I get the feeling when people come up to me and tell me, because I get those feelings all the time.
Right. We actually, I have a great picture somewhere in my phone of Steve actually came to our booth. Apparently, Steve is a lightsaber fan as well.
Oh, cool.
So we
I
have a
love
great
that.
photo of him lightsaber battling at our booth.
Oh, cool. I love that. He's so nice.
What do you have any words of encouragement for there was somebody that was acting. Now I know you say that sometimes you feel like you don't know because you kind of just slipped into it, but now after all these years, do you have any words of encouragement for new beginning voice actors or anything you can tell them that might be helpful?
Yes. I would say try to connect with the community in any way, whether it's other actors who are also trying to get into it. I feel like from my experience, I was only surrounded by a few cast members really, but I was a lot of times after I was recording by myself, sometimes not even with a director. And I was
Wow.
kind of like a lone wolf in my career. And I didn't really connect with other voice actors. And maybe that's a lot of the reason how I didn't know certain things. I didn't learn. I didn't know, like I wasn't
Right.
able to get like any type of like mentorship or like, hey, like you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And thankfully through the cons, I've been able to meet and really connect with certain, people and really
Yeah.
established voice actors. Tara Strong and Richard Horvitz. I love them so much. But we've gotten so close and they've really I just feel like they've took me under their wing and really have taught me a lot of things and have guided me through a lot of like these new changes that I'm trying to make.
Mhm.
And I'm so appreciative because I feel like that's one of the missing pieces that I think I needed. And I think it's really important to connect with the community because that we're all here together, like we were saying, like you never know what someone is going to get. And I'm not saying to connect to get something out of it, because I
Right.
know that can obviously, like we're all trying to, we have family support, we have things that we want to do, but I really think once you tap into this community, especially in the voice acting side, it's strong and
Right.
they're so tight and everyone is awesome, and we try to look out for each other, and I love that about us. So doing
Right.
the cons and seeing other voice actors and connecting with them, and just to be able to cheer them on and support them through socials or whatever the case is, I think is a really great way to start. And I know sometimes that can be nerve-wracking with imposter syndrome and things like that if you're trying to connect or you meet other people who you think are a little more established, but don't worry, everyone feels it. I feel it too all the time. And you just like
Right.
if anything, I always want to be transparent because I don't want anyone to feel like they're alone, because I felt that. And I know I'm not alone.
Right.
So just try to connect with anyone, even if it's with one person. You guys can work together and try to connect and grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, and just learn that way. And everything is happening a lot online. I have oh my goodness, I'm like blanking on names. Jennifer Hale has like an awesome online platform where you can they're teaching like steps on how to, become a voice actor, to find like little things. It's called Skills Hub, which I found a great coach that I love working with, Sarah Craven. She's a voice actor and she helps me a lot. And just all of these little things, I feel like it's scary at first, but try to just tap in slowly into the community. And I think it'll help, at least just to start building
Right.
your presence.
I have a beautiful photo of you and Anthony Gonzalez from
Oh
Zach
yeah, it's so
Anime.
cute.
And I remember that experience. Like, I remember watching the two of you get together, and they were like, "How come they put the two Latin actors on the opposite sides of the
I
stage
know.
or whatever?" And
I
I
don't
just
know who
remember
does all of these organizing of the tables. I have
Right,
questions.
right. But I remember seeing like kind of the joy that you guys had together.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to Anthony later, he had informed me that he had only started doing conventions like this
Yes.
was like his second or third one or something like that. So, he was still trying to figure it out. He didn't know, his way around. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like what Aaron was saying. You look at, this actor who was in the movie, Coco, and then you look at yourself and
Yeah.
people think that you all have it all figured out already and that you're at the top of your game. So
Yeah,
it's
thank
refreshing to know that you're actual human beings as
Yes.
well. And
Yeah.
you have the same fears and insecurities that all the rest of us have.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I love you so much. Thank you so much for being so like
Oh, thanks. I
open and
love you guys
transparent with us.
too.
It
Yes.
it really
Yeah.
means that's the beauty of this show is I never wanted it to be so or I never wanted it to be kind of like a layer thing. I really wanted to tap into like the real people that we're talking about because
Yeah.
aside Dora, you have a whole nother beautiful life that that is incredible, and I'm happy that you're sharing it with us. Thank you
Yes.
so
Oh, thank
much.
you. Well, you guys make it easy. Vulnerable, so thank you.
We're gonna get ready to wrap up. I don't want to steal too much of your time. Hopefully, when this project comes around, you're able to talk about it. Maybe you can come
Yeah.
back and let us know what that is, so we can go check it out. Do you
Yeah.
have anything that you want to leave with people? Maybe let them know where they can find more of your
Yeah,
work,
for
or
sure.
if anybody out there wants to hire you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yes. Well, I'm with now Innovative Artists. That's my agent. I love them so much.
Okay.
They're really great. And I'm on socials. I'm trying to be, that social media queen and serve up all of the nostalgia and some random things. I love a lot of everyone makes fun of me and my friends, but like I love a lot of different things.
Right.
So sometimes it seems like it's like all over the place, but I just try to share what I love on there and try to spread that joy with everyone. So you can follow me on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. And on Instagram and TikTok, it's at Kathleen Herles. And then on YouTube, it's at the Kathleen Herles because someone else has Kathleen Herles. I don't know who, but
Weird.
and I have been streaming a lot on YouTube, which is when I started my YouTube platform. I took a
Excellent.
break because I was traveling a lot and then I was reorganizing my setup. So we turned our attic into a loft, which is my like office now, as you can see,
Okay.
like all of my stuff. So I will be starting to stream. I was in the middle of Kingdom Hearts 2 and I need to finish it. So
Yes.
I'll be picking back that game up. So
There have been
One of the best games ever.
a
it's
few
so good.
comments about somebody just mentioned Kingdom Hearts 2 watching. So
Yeah.
you definitely have some people in here that
Yes,
follow
I
you
know they're
on your
waiting. They're waiting. I gotta get back. But yeah, and I always try to like, I'm still doing a show. I'm on an incredible show, the Dora reboot. So I try to post all the exciting things that come with that. And I know having that is also a blessing to be on that show. And I'm so grateful. And yeah, so more mommy things to come with Dora. And I'm excited. Oh, and just something to share.
Yeah.
There's another Dora live action movie coming out. I think it's July 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. It's
Oh wow.
yeah, it's gonna stream on Paramount Plus and it looks so good. I cried with the trailer. I'm just like that, but it's really cute. I would highly recommend everyone going to see that. So
Yay.
yeah.
And I want to remind you, Kathleen, I always say this to a lot of our celebrities, and I rarely have people take me up on this. Actually, Greg Sipes from Teen Titans actually talked to me
Oh,
about
I
this. But
love him.
if you are ever doing events, like if you're going to a children's hospital or you're doing things particularly with kids that have needs or special needs or anything like that, I am a huge softie. I was a preschool teacher before I was selling
Oh, I didn't
lightsabers.
know that.
So anytime you're doing anything with the kids, I am more than happy to donate if I can
Okay.
to events that you are a part of. So just give
Yes.
me a
Thank
call
you
and say,
so
hey, I
much.
need some lightsabers. Send those over.
Van, send some lightsabers, stat.
Yeah, we need lightsabers.
I gotta send. We gotta. I wish I could send you like a hologram or whatever it's called, like in Star Wars. Like I just pop up on your desk. I need lightsabers.
Order 67. We need
Yeah.
sabers.
I can't with y'all.
You have been an absolute pleasure. I love you to death. You
Oh,
are
I
a
love you guys
phenomenal human
too.
being.
Thank
you for being
You
so
guys are.
open and insightful with
Thank
us.
you.
You were just you were almost ready to make me start crying. I love
I
my
can
time with you.
listen. I don't know. So I feel like I could cry at anything, but I don't know. I want to say I'm like an empath. Is that the right word? I don't really know.
I'm saving my crying for after the show.
I'll also cry after with you, so you know you're not alone.
Kathleen, if you have the time, if you don't mind hanging out like while we wrap things up, I really do want to talk to you after post show. But
I'll stay on.
Van, we ready to?
I feel like I have to do the voice before we go.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. It kind of gets a little loud.
Although we do have a treat for people on the outro, but go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dora the Explorer. If you see Swiper, say Swiper, no swiping. Say it with me. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping.
Oh man!
Hey, that was so good.
I do the things.
Thank you so much, Kathleen.
Thank you.
We love you to
All right,
death, and I will be talking soon.
Thank you,
Aaron wants to talk to you after the show, and if you have any questions about your lightsabers, let's get that taken care of because you cannot have not functioning lightsabers. You and Reggie need to be at it in the backyard.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, we love you to death.
Bye,
Get that outro there, Aaron.
Swiper, no swiping unless it's your card at Kyber Cave.
Woohoo!
Dude.
I'm trying to bring us back. Wait, here we go. Here we go. What did you think, brother?
Okay, so my mind is officially blown right about now.
I told you tonight would be a good night for you to be on. We are sad that Metz was not here. We hope that she gets to feeling better soon. But Aaron did a fantastic job being Metz for tonight. Excellent. All right, my friend.
I have no problem being the Mets stand-in.
Let's get this show wrapped up so you can have a conversation with Kathleen at the end. You know what comes next, don't you?
I believe this calls for a segue, my man.
Bum, bum, bum.
How about a little bit of guess that character?
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we need like mystery music or something.
I know. I don't have control of those things. I see. This one makes me a terrible stand-in. So, all right. So
fantastic.
All right. So, do you want to go ahead and explain the rules to these folks?
All right. So, this will be a character in the Star Wars universe, and you know how Metz does it. Sometimes they're hard, sometimes they are easy. But you will have roughly a minute to guess. And for people waiting around, don't forget. After that, we will be doing our giveaway for the saber here, which this is going home with somebody. You will get to choose from red, blue, green, brown, or purple. So stay tuned after, and we will do that giveaway. But for now, let's guess that character. What do you got for us first?
All right, so let's move the slide real quick. Boom. Who is this character?
Okay, wait. I get to put my comments in the guest in the comments, the private chat. I think it's gotta be him.
I don't know. That's the head looks the shape of the head looks like a giveaway.
That's what I think. I feel like in particular this is all right. I put mine in the private chat. Am I right or am I wrong?
Private chat. I got access to nothing. Oh, there it is. Found it. Ooh, so close.
Uh-oh.
All right, what do we how long do we want to give this?
What was that?
How long do we want to give this?
All right, let's give it another 10 seconds. So what do we have in the audience? Let's see what A lot of people are coming up with. Give me a second here.
Looks like we have Jen. You've got to be more specific.
Not
Jen
sure which one.
Jen wants a lightsaber, which means Jen's husband wants a lightsaber.
Oh, Say Wong said Vader unmasked.
Ooh.
He's a Star Wars robot guy. I like that. In Andor. Okay. One of the Mandos. A lot of people are saying Mandos, and that's what I said.
I know. Look at it. It's like a helmet silhouette.
Mezzo's like, I know the answer.
Mezzo, be quiet. All right, we ready?
All right, who is that character? Name that character. Is it Din?
Boom.
Oh,
yeah,
our
buddy.
winner.
It's our K2SO, the modified KX series security droid who served in the Alliance to restore the Republic. Originally created for the Imperial Army, the droid was deployed into BBY as part of the Galactic Empire's efforts to quell protests on the planet Gorman.
That, and then we even had a clue with the nerdy news tonight too. What a shame.
I know.
I know. I said Boba as well for a lot of people in the audience. All right, next character.
All right,
that was a good one.
Boom.
Max. I'll give you that one.
I know.
Ooh, who is this?
All right, y'all got 45 seconds.
I'm guessing with those ears that it's Will Smith.
The force is not strong with you tonight.
Am I wrong? That's not Will Smith. Okay, I don't know what this guy's name is, but hold on. I'm going to type something in the private chat.
Okay.
He was. All right, 10 more seconds, people. 10 more seconds.
10 more seconds.
All right, that's my answer. Let's see what other people are saying. Lord Helmet. There's a good guess, Cam.
Actually, is a very good guess considering everything we've talked about tonight. All right, here we go. Here's our answer. Morgan Elsbeth.
Oh.
Yep, Morgan Elsbeth, the Force-sensitive female Night Sister, starship designer, and industrialist who was instrumental in the construction of the Imperial Navy during the reign of the Galactic Empire, and dedicated a follower of Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Someone said the Armorer. Rob said the Armorer, but we also had Ray and Ellen DeGeneres from Night Vision.
Wow.
Lando's co-pilot. I said that the vampire bat-looking guy out of the cantina. That's who I thought it was.
That's funny. So that is our name that character.
All right, so then we got one thing left to do, my friend. Somebody wins the saber tonight. All right, quickly. The rules are, this is your last minute chance. And Kathleen, you get a chance here to put your name, just leave any comment. And if you leave a comment, you will be put in the drawing for this saber. If you have multiple YouTube accounts, you can even leave multiple comments from different accounts. You cannot be an employee of Kyber Cave, for which there are only like 2 of them. So if you are an employee, you cannot win the saber, and you cannot have won a saber in the last 6 months. So if you have won in the last 6 months, you will get another prize besides a saber, and it will be re-spun again. But besides that, somebody's walking home with this. Well, somebody's getting mailed a saber tonight unless they come to pick it up.
Okay, so tonight we have 28 entries.
Wow. Okay.
All right, so I am going to. Can't link this thing. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do the drawing, and then I'm going to type their name in the comments.
Oh, it's not going to be on the screen so people can see the.
Yeah, I'm not able to. I can't link it, but I will go ahead and do the drawing now. 1, 2, and boom. Ooh, who do we got?
This is intense. Who will it be?
Wow, can this thing go? No way in the world. Okay. Our winner is Sei Wong.
Way! Say Wong!
Congratulations, dude. Look at that.
Say Wong has won a saber before, but not in
But
like
has he
a
won it in the
year, I
last
don't
6
think.
months?
Yeah, I don't think he's won a saber in like a year.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well, then there you go. And
Woo!
there's our winner.
Excellent job.
Congratulations.
And Say Wong, you got to pick your or we can ship it out to you. But yeah, just make sure to get a hold of us this week, Say Wong. We'll figure out how to get that out to you.
So
All righty,
cool.
y'all. I want to remind you guys. First off, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. But remember, we give away a saber every 100 subscribers. This weekend, because of the show that we're on, and I want to thank everybody that I met at Sinister that has come in tonight. Thank you so much. But we picked up 52 more people, which means we're only 48 more away from the next saber giveaway. What else that means is, even though we took a break, if we didn't take a break, that means that we would have given away 3 lightsabers in a month, which means this channel is growing fast. We only give them away every 100 subscribers. So this channel is growing fast. I want to thank everybody for letting your friends know about this. But please make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and share this. The more you share, the more sabers we give away.
Not to mention, you guys, don't forget, and this is dating back like pre-4's time, Kyber Cave isn't just Saber Rattle. There's a plethora of content. We've got game streams, we've got gaming recordings, we've got some old Kyber Cave After Darks for those of you who are 18 plus.
We also have Multiverse of Cosplay, which is
Yes.
Elder's show, which is a comedy show that I think a lot of people have been sleeping on. If you have not checked that out, we also have Metz has we have a new apprentice at the Kyber Cave, and Metz has a Sage. Sage has a new gaming show. So especially if you're into gaming, Graveyard still has a Retro Alcove on Mondays, which
The
we
Husbeard.
absolutely love. That's right. So make sure to check out all the other content that we have at Kyber Cave. Hearts of Kyber was up. We even had a medical show on the who would have thought of that? Yeah.
Yes. And suggestions are welcome.
Always welcome. We love being here for you guys. We cannot wait to be here for you more. We've got fantastic guests coming up next month. I don't have the exact date right now, but I do have Andy from Toy Story. Mr. John Morris is his name. John Morris will be here. He was Andy in the Toy Story movies. So we have fantastic guests for you always. So make sure to stay here. Tune in every week. You could win a saber. If bribing you with a saber is not enough and all these fantastic guests, I don't know what I have to do.
Well, clearly you're going to have to become a game streamer.
I guess that's what it is. We'll start gaming with Kathleen.
All right, you guys, look forward to Mets being back next week. But until then, thank you for joining us tonight. And as always, may the fours be with you.
Peace, y'all.